Now, Ray J, Willie, Raymond, Norwood, Junior. What is this about? Couldn't have a good Thanksgiving. You just want to argue with Princess. You want to argue with Princess. What is the problem? What is the issue? Your babies are beautiful, Epic and Melody. Beautiful kids. And I'm like, this is the thing. You've always showed no respect to Princess. And I kid you not, you always have not showed no respect to Princess going all the way back to Love and Hip Hop when you pushed her in that pool. And I said, is he crazy? And I just knew for a fact that she was not gonna marry your ass. And then she married you. So y'all was on every Love and Hip Hop. It is. Y'all was on Love and Hip Hop New York. Y'all was on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Y'all was on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Y'all was on Love and Hip Hop Miami. And y'all still couldn't get it together. Y'all still couldn't get it together. So what it has resulted to is Ray J, my guy, Ray J, you went to jail. You really went to jail. And for the life of me, I can't understand why y'all ever got married. I honestly cannot understand why y'all ever got married. Why did y'all get married? Why? I don't know why. You need to stop acting like your kids' ages and not a 44-year-old. Because how it is my whole feeling for you, Ray J, has always been you have always wanted to be bigger than you were. And you always were in Brandy's shadow because Brandy was always the bigger star. Brandy was always brand to be the bigger star. And you could do a little yin yang and do a little, a little yin yang, do a little singing and this and that, and one wish everything. One wish this, one wish that. And I'm like, okay, Ray J. So you can do a little song. You can do a little song. You did Sexy Can I? And then you said you did one wish, and you ain't gonna let one wish go. You ain't gonna let one wish go. You not. So that was your little career. And you were singing for a minute. You were singing for a minute now, just for a minute. And then, you had a little bit of yin yang and this and that. You had a song, you was friends with Young Bird. And then you was in a relationship with T. Eric Marie. Toxic. Very, very toxic. Everything was toxic about you, Ray J. Because you're a toxic person. And it's always almost like you didn't get the love that you thought that you should have gotten. And that's what I never understood. And I don't know. Because I do remember when you were on um Moesha Brandy's show. And you played the little brother. You played Dorian. And this and that. They put you in that show. And then when Moesha went on, then you end up being on All of Us. And then that's when you started your Love and Hip Hop. And now keep in mind, we forgot that you could sing now. Because honestly speaking, you weren't that strong of a singer anyway, Ray J. You weren't that strong of a singer anyway. You definitely were not. not that strong of a singer. You wouldn't. And I just always felt like you was always in competition with your sister because you always felt like that you were owed more than you were. You get what I'm saying? You were owed more than you thought that you were. You thought you was better than you were. And Ray J, you can be smart. You had good ideas and all this stuff. And you got plenty of businesses and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It always seemed like to me you were in your sister's shadows. And it's almost like you were, jealous of your sister because of her success. And then you've actually been on her tours, the Boy Is Mine tour, and I never could understand why you was there. Why were you there? Just staying and trying to stay in the spotlight and all this stuff. Like Ray J, stop that shit. Because my whole thing is, Ray J, you was all right, but you wasn't all this and this and that. You wouldn't. And uh-uh. And then the fact that you was sitting up there threatening your ex-wife and in the midst of them babies, and then you pulled out a pow pow on her and said that if anybody come up in there, that you was gonna blow everything up. And you said you didn't want nobody to come up in there. And I'm like, Rache, what's going on? And then it was an issue because honestly speaking, I ain't gonna give Princess no credit, no more credit than she need to have, because she always would push your buttons, right, Jay? I give that to you. She always would push your buttons. Yes, she would. But the whole thing is she should have had more, strength and more stamina and things other than having like pulling out weapons. Because at one point y'all were happy, y'all were married. It was very, very toxic. Y'all always had an argument. It was always an argument. It was never nothing positive about y'all. Nothing never was positive. And then you would get drunk, she would get drunk, she would push your buttons and stuff like this and that. It just was a situation where it just came to the point to where a domestic violence situation was happening. Y'all over there arguing and fussing and fighting, and the kids just cutting up, crying, and all this stuff. Because y'all just acting a plumb damn fool up over there. And my whole thing is, why? And the kids, I'm pretty sure that the kids saw this all the time. This wasn't nothing new to them. However, they're still children. And do you think that y'all need to be sitting up there hooting and hollering and going on and on and on in front of your children like that? I don't think you need to. I really don't think that you need to. Yeah, right, Jay. You just got to do better, my brother. I promise you, you have to do better. And you didn't got out on the $50,000 bond, but you didn't got out on the $50,000 bond for you to still probably do the same damn thing over and over and over again. And the thing is, I do know for a fact that your mama, Miss Sonia, she always was with Brandy. Because pretty much honestly speaking, she knew that she could always count on Brandy because Brandy had the level head and she was always the stronger artist in the family. I'm just saying, I'm just calling a spade a spade. She always was a stronger artist in the family. I listened to Ray J at times. However, I was a Brandy fan from CD1, CD2, CD3. That was my girl. And everything that Brandy was in, I wanted to see. Any scary movie, any movie that she was in, I even watched the Cinderella movie with her and Whitney Houston, the late great Whitney Houston. And she just was always just that girl. And I just love Brandy. And then it's almost like it was always in competition with Ray J. He wanted to be, better than his sister. However, he could never be better than his sister. And the reason why he couldn't is because he was just not better. But Ray J, you got out on a $50,000 bond. Next time, you better quit pulling and brandishing weapons and stuff up there in that house and threatening and all that stuff, especially in front of your children and all that stuff. Kids crying and stuff, and people hearing y'all and calling the law on y'all, police on y'all. Come on, get it together, my black brother. Because who wants to see a black man going to jail? Who wants to see another black man, just a man, period? But especially a black man, one that's supposed to be rich and know what the hell he doing and know what the fuck to do and what not to do. And Ray J, come on, my brother. You acting like you not in your 40s. You acting like a spoiled baby. And you act like you still in competition with your sister. But I tell you this, Spray J, you ain't in competition on my side because I listen to you, but I don't listen to you like that. Brandy is my girl. Ray J, do better. Have a good night.